Welcome everyone to our first annual Women's History Month fashion show. We're very, very excited to be here today. I'm Callie Johnson and this is Emily Corbett, and we will be y'all's MCs tonight. So Women's History Month had its origins as a national celebration in 1981 when Congress passed a law which authorized and requested the President to proclaim the week beginning March 7th as Women's History Week. Throughout the next 5 years, Congress continued to pass joint resolutions designating a week in March as Women's History Month. In 1987, after being petitioned by the National Women's History Project, Congress passed the law which designated the month of March as Women's History Month. Between 1988 and 1994, Congress passed additional resolutions requesting and authorizing the President to proclaim March of each year as Women's History Month. Since 1995, Presidents Clinton, Bush, and Obama have issued a series of annual proclamations designating the month of March as Women's History Month.
The American Women's History Initiative will amplify women's voices to honor the past, inform the present, and inspire the future. The stories we tell deepen our understanding of women's contributions to America and to the world, showing how far women have advanced and how far we as a country value equality and contributions of all our citizens.
So to begin, Ms. Currington, a history teacher here at Wallace State, has brought some women from the past and
welcome to my world. Some of you know me. If you do, this is what I spend my time and money on. People ask me, what do you do for fun outside work? And this kind of stuff. Okay, so we're going to have ladies from 6 different time periods, and a song from her time period will play as she comes out. So, and I'm going to hold up the years. Our first lady comes to us from 1819. So Avery can come on out. You can kind of turn around. Okay, let me tell you a little bit about Avery. She comes from 1819, and hopefully you know why that is important. Alabama became a state. If you know that Alabama's statehood, we're currently the 200th anniversary. Her dress would have been in fashion from the late 1790s through about 1820. This time period was also called the Regency or Empire period, or some of you may know it as the Jane Austen time period. Speaking of Empire period, if you know what an empire waist is called, the waistline is really at the upper rib cage. We actually don't even see her real waistline. This dress has a very vertical shape. Even though we don't see her waist, she would still wear a corset for posture and shape. Other features are the short puffed sleeves. Obviously, this dress would be for a formal occasion, with her long gloves and ostrich feathers in her hair. She wears a cameo necklace on her ribbon. The hairstyle was to look like that of ancient Greece, pinned up with small ringlet curls. Avery and her family had just moved into the territory of Alabama in 1819. They are excited to know that up in Huntsville, men are writing the Constitution for the new state of Alabama, and she will wear this dress to a dance to celebrate. The style of dancing she would be doing, again, is that of a Jane Austen movie, English country dancing, in long lines in which you keep changing places and partners. Okay, so Avery's going to move to the side, and now we're going to meet Avery's granddaughter. Next song, I'm sorry. Avery's granddaughter comes to us. Next, second song. Lorena. This is Avery's granddaughter, Bethany. She comes to us from 1860. Hopefully you can notice you can keep it on low if you want to. Hopefully you can notice quite a difference in shape of the look. She is definitely not vertical. She takes up a lot of horizontal space. Notice her waistline is now at the natural waist as opposed to the empire on the upper rib cage. Whereas the first dress was formal, what Bethany wears would be for day wear. So ladies, yeah, imagine that every day. This was about the midpoint of what we call the Victorian period, named for Queen Victoria of Great Britain. This period was very prim and proper. Ladies were covered head to toe, except when they wore a ball gown. If she were to go to a dance, she could show her arms. She might dance the Virginia Reel, like Scarlett and Rhett did in Gone with the Wind. Below her waist, we do not even see the outline of her lower body. The lower body was hidden from men's lustful eyes. To attain this shape, she would wear several underskirts known as crinolines. These would be starched to make them stand out. Then what we call a caged crinoline or hoop skirt was developed with wicker or metal hoops. One serious danger was catching on fire. So Bethany, do not step too close to a candle or a fireplace, and also don't walk too close to a moving wagon or carriage wheel. We don't want to think about how ugly that would be. The tiny waist was achieved with a corset with strips of whalebone. So very much of an hourglass shape as opposed to Avery, who's up and down. Also, Avery and Bethany, I forgot to mention, pull up your skirts a little bit, and this is what she's wearing underneath. Yes, notice their pantalettes and their stockings. Now, hopefully you know that only their mamas would see that. That was a very loose woman thing to do that they just did. During Bethany's time period, women were to be seen and not heard, to be a pretty ornament and a moral example. Women, they didn't believe that we had much of a brain, and too much learning might harm her brain and body. She might faint with all this heavy clothing and the tight corset. Her restrictive clothes helped keep her in her place. Okay, now as she moves to the side, we're moving to her granddaughter, Bethany's granddaughter, Abby. Third song. Okay, 1918, this is Bethany's granddaughter. She comes to us from 1918, so she's about halfway between our first young lady and the present day. She's still covered up for the most part, but obviously not near as restrictive of clothing as her grandmother Bethany. As with our previous ladies, her hair is kept long, yet pinned up. Large hat brims with lots of feathers, ribbon, and lace. Whereas our previous ladies would have ridden in horse-drawn buggies, Abby has been riding around in her family's Model T Ford. Abby likes to dance the waltz with her sweetheart. She has been rolling bandages and knitting scarves for American soldiers serving in France during the Great War. We know it is World War I, but since Abby doesn't know there's going to be a World War II, her generation calls it the Great War. Advances for women during this time, many women served as nurses with the Red Cross, or were in the Signal Corps of the military as switchboard operators. Also during this time, women in both Britain and the U.S. have been marching for women's right to vote. And with the passage of the 19th Amendment in 2 years, Abby will be voting in 2 years. Okay? All right. Now, next song, Abby's Younger Nieces. Come on, 20s ladies. 1927, these are Abby's younger nieces. This is Toe and Kimberly, and they come to us from 1927. The flappers of the 1920s were rebelling against the look and standards of these other ladies, their mothers and grandmothers. They have probably thrown out their corsets. Many women wanted to be fun and carefree, and it's difficult to do that with a corset on. As opposed to previous generations of an hourglass figure, flappers wanted to have boyish figures. Notice how loose the dresses are, and the waistline is moved to way below the waist. And oh my, we can actually see their legs. Their great-grandmother Bethany would be aghast. Bethany, don't faint. Oh, Bethany's about to faint seeing what these ladies are doing. They're wearing sheer stockings, and turn around and let them see the back. They have seams in the back, because the technology of knitting a tube shape without a seam had not been invented yet. And T-strap shoes are popular. You can turn around and let them see your shoes, and they actually show their feet. It's not very fun and carefree to have long hair that you have to pin up. So flappers got the hair cut short like Kimberly. And instead of the hats like Abby's wearing with the big brim, Toe is wearing a very close-fitting hat. Not all women would, but some women are now smoking cigarettes. Toe is at a flask. Drinking is illegal in the 1920s, but she's bringing her flask. It's more acceptable to wear makeup now, so Kimberly, if you can powder your nose or show them your contacts at least, there you go, yeah. It's more acceptable. Toe and Kimberly are excited to go see movies at the newly opened Alabama Theater in downtown Birmingham. They've also heard that soon movies will have sound along with the picture. And of course, they've been listening to jazz and dancing to Charleston. Toe and Kimberly's younger nieces are next. So go on over to the side. Toe and Kimberly's younger nieces. 1940s ladies, come on. Caitlin, Skylar, and Emily come to us from 1944. And of course we know the big thing that was going on is the war. Their sweethearts and their brothers are either in Europe or the Pacific fighting in World War II. Their families can't purchase new cars or refrigerators because they aren't being made. Everything is going toward making planes, tanks, jeeps, and ships. When these ladies go to the store, they are limited on how much coffee, sugar, meat, and other things that they can purchase due to rationing. They're still wearing their stockings, so you can turn around and let them see your pretty stockings, but they really should turn them in because parachutes need to be made from the silk and nylon. They're turning in all scrap metal and even saving cooking fat and grease, which can be used for the war effort. Caitlin in the green has on a pin that has V for victory, and before their fellows went off to war, they enjoyed going to swing dances. The shirt dresses, the blue and white and the green, those are a popular style. These ladies have office jobs working for the government during the war, but many of their female friends are Rosie the Riveters working in war plants, welding and riveting B-29 planes, for instance. The war will be over a year from now, and the baby boom begins, so these ladies will be changing a lot of diapers in the next few years. Have fun with that, ladies. Where are their daughters? Charlie, you can come first, Charlie. Charlie's going to tell us about their daughters, okay? Song number 6 is from 1969. Next song.
Miss Lee and Abigail came to us. Okay.
It's the top of the season.
Leanne and Abigail came to us from 1969. Many women in this generation are just like their grandmother's generations. Okay.
Let me try to take you in.
Miss Leanne and Abigail came to us from 1969. Many women in this generation are just like their grandmother's generation in the 1920s, being rebellious and shocking their parents. Some of their friends are wanting to head to a big music festival in New York State this summer. These girls aren't headed to Woodstock though. They're more concerned about their sweethearts who are serving in Vietnam. Mini skirts are the mod look from London and are from fashion. Lots of polyester. No more seams in their pantyhose. Many women in their generation are going to college. In fact, when they read of the first moon landing this year, they may know that many women helped write code and make calculations, helping NASA achieve this victory for the U.S. and the Cold War.
Okay, let's all ladies have that touch saying order. Please, ladies first. And the twins girls. And Edwards in this order. Give these ladies a hand. Thank you. I have hundreds of children, and these are some of them, and I am like the proudest mama in the world. Thank you. Now I think Callie's going to turn over to the rest.
Yes, okay. These women paved the path to where we are today, and now we would like to show y'all some modern fashion. And we want to thank Water Girl Wallace and Coleman for sponsoring this part of our show. They were very, very generous to let us use their clothing. So Miss Emily is going to introduce the first model.
Our first model is Brooke Norris. Brooke is a freshman at Wallace and is a business major. She graduated from Good Hope High School in 2018 and was the senior class secretary, Leo Club secretary, SGA treasurer, FCCLA president, and a member of the Pep Club. She was on color guard for 5 years and the captain for 3 years. She's now a part of Wallace Theater and is the SGA vice president. She loves to travel and has been to 16 states. She's modeling a gray shirt, white jeans, gray heels, and jewelry.
Our next model is Mackenzie Graves. Mackenzie graduated from Springville High School and is 20 years old. She's a sophomore here at Wallace, and this is her fourth semester of the nursing program. She graduates in August and plans to study her BSN at UAB. She is modeling a lovely romper with a layered necklace and very, very cute statement shoes.
Our next model is Katie Coleman. Katie Coleman is a drummer in the pep band. She's a member of Sigma Kappa Delta and Mu Alpha Theta here at Wallace State. She enjoys traveling and playing tennis. She's majoring in English education and plans to transfer to Athens to complete her degree. She's modeling a classic off-the-shoulder navy dress, gray platform heels, and silver jewelry.
Our next model is Miss Angelina Knetter. She's a junior in high school, and when she graduates high school, she plans to go to Wallace State to obtain her degree in cosmetology. Her interests are makeup artistry and hair design. Her hobbies include reading, volleyball, photography, and elaborate hair braiding.
Our next model is Grace Knetter. She's a freshman at Wallace State working on her business degree. She graduated from high school at 15 years old with a 4.0 GPA. She received a 31 on her ACT and was awarded the President's Award and the Academic Achievement Award from her school at graduation. Some of her hobbies are photography, reading, handcrafting all natural skincare products. She enjoys raising milk goats and livestock, guard dogs on her family's farm.
Next we have Miss Megan Corbett. She is wearing a lovely leopard print romper with gold layered necklace and black suede peep toe booties. Megan graduated from Hansville High School and was the commanding officer in her JROTC and won the Sons of America Revolution Award for her service. She enjoys singing and playing the ukulele. She's on the Wallace State Relay for Life team and her major is general studies. So, we want to thank you all for coming today. We really, really enjoyed this. Actually, I'm sorry, we have one more. She wasn't on this main list. I'm sorry. Miss Emma Wright, how could I forget our Miss Wallace State 2019. She is a senior at J.B. Pennington High School with a dual enrollment in general studies. She is a 6-year varsity band member, a 3rd-year drum major, and she'll be representing us at Miss Alabama pageant in June. We are very excited to have her. She is modeling a lovely romper with very, very cute statement shoes. So thank you all for coming today. Very much appreciated. And thanks for taking a peek into the history of our role as women. Okay, so would all the ladies please come back on stage as we take a picture. And if she's here, we'd love to have her come on stage so we can recognize her alongside these beautiful women. She is a very special woman to us, and she has done a lot of amazing things for our school and for Wallace State. So thank you, Dr. Karlowitz. And we're going to take some pictures of our lovely ladies. Thank you all for coming out today, and thanks to the models for spending their time learning about history and kind of celebrating women's history.